Hello again. So, back again today, as you can tell by the title of this video, we're going to talk about some anime. I've been getting asked by a few people, do I like anime? And then, oddly enough, coincidentally enough, I just started watching One Piece again after man, when did I stop watching it? Like late, like really watching it, like the very end of 2015. 7 years. Shit, damn. I just recently started watching it again. I'm enjoying it again. It's just a lot. It's a lot, and people know that. So, uh, do I like anime? A couple people have asked me about that. It is a big like kind of pop culture nerdy thing that I've just never ever really discussed in any form on this channel. So I'm gonna fix that, and I'm gonna take you guys through each and every anime that I have tried and sampled to try and explain to you. The answer is yes, I do. I do like anime. I'm just very, very picky. To explain why I'm as picky as I am, I'm going to take you guys through each and every anime that I've tried, ones that I have watched all the way through, ones that I started but didn't finish, and I'm going to tell you my thoughts and opinions on them. Uh, I'm very picky with anime. Before I watch a new anime or even give one a shot, I will read and watch a ton of reviews. I will probably, and I do not watch non-action anime. I'm not into the romance. I'm not into I don't even know what to call it. It's so weird. That other type of anime where it's not like battles and action and stuff. I don't know what the deal is with that. That's weird shit. Uh, but yeah. So um, I will look up fight scenes on YouTube just to kind of see what the action looks like. Because well, we'll just get into it. You'll understand. So right off the bat, first anime I ever watched was Dragon Ball Z. I was probably like 8 years old, real young when I found Dragon Ball Z. Like a lot of people from my generation, I mean, what do I really need to say about Dragon Ball Z? It's the most popular, well-known anime in the world. It's got a huge following. It's a great story. I do think that everything post Cell Game saga is the absolute worst stuff. I think everything up to the end of the Cell saga and Gohan killing and defeating Cell, I think all of that is great. And then I do think that the final little chunk of Dragon Ball Z, I think it kind of suffered. I don't think it was as good as it could have been. But hey. So then I didn't really watch any anime until I was like 15. I was in high school, and a, a friend turned me on to Full Metal Alchemist, not Brotherhood, the original. And I watched all of that, and I absolutely loved it. It might be my favorite anime. You know, it's been I'm pretty sure it is. I'm pretty sure it is my favorite anime of all time. There have been times where other anime have replaced it as the favorite, but then more time went by and I came back to this and I was like, no, this is still my favorite. And once again, I'm talking about Full Metal Alchemist, not Brotherhood. I watched Brotherhood, you know, several years later. Finally decided to watch it. I loved the original so much, and everyone said Brotherhood was better. I did not want to watch Brotherhood because I was afraid that it's like, man, I'm not gonna be able to enjoy the original as much anymore if I watch Brotherhood. Everyone says it's so much better, and I will admit that there are some things in Brotherhood that are better. The animation is, it's several years later than the first one, so some of the fight scenes are a little more faster paced, a little more action packed. However, even after watching all of Brotherhood, I'm one of those weird people. I still prefer the original, and it really just comes down to like the end of it all and the story and what it was all building up to. With Brotherhood, it ends up being the villain is just some guy who wants to obtain ultimate power and godhood. It's been done a million fucking times. Full Metal Alchemist, like this, man, that ending threw me for a loop. The fact that like Alphonse and Edward's father is an immortal who, along with this other woman who is also an immortal, have been keeping themselves alive for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years by just, every so many centuries, they create a philosopher's stone by sacrificing thousands, if not millions, of people, and then using the philosopher's stone to swap bodies with another person and live out the rest of their life. And like, oh my gosh, they've just been sacrificing and killing millions of people to perpetuate their own existence. And man, I did not see that coming. And the movie that truly ends the Full Metal Alchemist, the original series, is really good. I like the ending of it. It's just great. Full Metal Alchemist and Brotherhood is great too, but I prefer the original. I really do. I thought it was a much more original story idea. I thought the ending was great. I might be a weirdo. I know a lot of people prefer Brotherhood, but I prefer the original. So the next one that I really got into was Bleach. This is another one that a bunch of friends of mine were all watching, and so they turned me on to it. Um, they were on the like second season, which they were on the story arc where Ichigo and his companions, they invade the Soul Society to save Rukia. And they were all like, "You gotta watch this show, man. It's Dragon Ball Z, but they have swords. It's epic. It's badass." So I started watching it, and at first I was very entertained by it. I thought it had a lot of promise. It had a good concept. This kid uses a magical sword to enter into like a spiritual realm parallel to ours, and there he slays uh, demon monsters called Hollow. It was cool. It was a cool idea. I liked it, and I liked it all the way up until the end of the Soul Society arc. Well, I'm probably giving the arcs the wrong names, but the whole story arc where they're going to save Rukia in the Soul Society, and it ends with Ichigo fighting. Now I'm not even gonna remember his name. Rukia's brother, and Aizen reveals himself to be the villain. All of that. That was all. Everything up to that point was great. After that, it just got fucking weird. Like, Bleach is one of those anime where they had a really cool core concept, and parts of that was maintained throughout the entire show, but then other times it just got stupid. And there are way too many characters that I just, quite frankly, don't give a shit about. Like, Ichigo is the main character, he's by far the most interesting. The other Soul Reapers are interesting, but prior to introducing all of those Soul Reapers and having them become like allies and good guys and friends, they had introduced other characters from Ichigo's teenage friends from high school. Orihime, I think his name was Chad. uh, and once we got deeper into the Soul Society and we met all these other Soul Reapers, his high school friends were just seemed like an annoying nuisance. Like, I didn't want them around. I didn't want to see them. There were definitely cool fights and cool story arcs. Ichigo's fight with oh man, I'm not remembering any of these people's names. So Ichigo fought this guy, Grimmjow, that was his name, and Ukiura. Ichigo's fights with those two were awesome. I found his final fight with Aizen to be a little lackluster and disappointing. And then the follow up from there, the story arcs that take place after the Aizen's defeat, they were just a little like eh. Ichigo loses his Soul Reaper powers and then he becomes something else. Can't remember what it was called. And then he becomes a Soul Reaper. And it was just weird. And then another big complaint of mine was my buddies. Uh, they they marketed this to me, telling me it was Dragon Ball Z, but they had swords. And to me, what that meant was I was like, okay, Dragon Ball Z, and they have fight scenes in where they're like punching and kicking and elbowing and kneeing and grappling and throwing each other into mountains and shit like that. And then, they also have some like energy blast attacks. So when they said this was Dragon Ball Z with swords, I thought, okay, we're gonna see people sword fighting. We're gonna see them blocking and parrying and uh, using like it's gonna be a well choreographed, well animated sword fight. That never really occurred. Like the characters would clash blades and then they would just kind of stand there and like grind their blades against one another while like taunting each other. Another thing is I watch only dubbed anime. I don't watch subbed anime. Take that for what you will. I just don't do it. I don't read manga either. Uh, so yeah, I don't know if it was just the dub or if it was the translation. I don't know what it was, but a lot of the dialogue, especially in those moments where like their sword blades are like up against each other and they're like gritting their teeth, a lot of the dialogue is just corny and cheesy and cringy and bad. So I watched all of Bleach and I came away from it going, man, I came away from it going, that was a disappointment. It really, really was. So I started looking for a replacement, something to kind of like make me something in the same vein as Bleach but better. And I tried Inuyasha. He's like a half demon character, uses a big sword. I don't know. I tried it. It was interesting and entertaining at first, but it is an older anime, and that means that, you know, even though anime, even though the animation of anime has always been ahead of like other countries' animation, uh, in a lot of ways, it's still an older one, which means once again the fight scenes, they're not big, fast-paced sword fighting fight scenes. They're just not. Even though Inuyasha's arch nemesis, his half brother, full brother, I can't remember, uh, Sashomaru, I think is his name. Uh, Even though they both wield swords, like they don't ever really have like a back and forth attack, block, parry sword fight. And another thing was the main female character. I don't even. Kokome maybe was her name. I don't know. She was just annoying as shit, and all she ever did was get captured. That's it. That's every single story arc she got fucking captured. Like every other episode she was getting captured. It was just annoying. So I did not finish Inuyasha. I quit. Uh, Probably I really don't think I got very far through it at all. And yeah, uh, I've never looked back. So still searching for something to scratch this anime itch that I had. Bleach didn't do it. Inuyasha didn't do it. My college roommate recommended Naruto. He's like, try Naruto. It's very popular. A lot of people like it. You know, a lot of people that one of the biggest debates is Naruto versus Bleach. So I tried it and I watched all of Naruto. I did not watch any of Shippuden, just Naruto. I will say this: I came away from it liking it more than Bleach, but it's still disappointed. It was too childish for me at the time. I was like 22, 23 years old. It was too childish. And there's way too much talking during fights. Like people would be running their mouths, and I'm like, well, hey, you're like a ninja, and you have like throwing stars and throwing knives. While they're running their mouth, why don't you just like fucking throw a knife in their face? So that shit like that started to really bother me. And then this isn't this doesn't happen in every anime, but I guess it's a part of Japanese storytelling, and the way they tell stories is build up to a really big climactic moment and then don't show it. Instead, cut away and do some flashback backstory building shit, then show the climax. Like I remember early on in the show Naruto, uh fuck, I can't remember her name. Sakura, maybe? Yeah, I guess. She no, that's not her. I don't remember her fucking name. But anyway, they were in like a tournament and she was squaring off against this other girl, right? And right as the fight is about to go down, the episode ends. And I'm like, okay, so the fight will be in the next episode. So I start the next episode. The next episode starts playing. It's them. They walk into the arena. A little bit of like in anime, it's very common that the first couple minutes 2 to 3 minutes of the next episode are actually just scenes from the end of the previous one. So turn on the next episode, it's them getting into the ring, about to start their fight, and then it cuts away, and the entire episode just ends up being backstory about their relationship with each other and how they used to be friends at one point in time, but then something happened and now they're not friends and they're rivals. And I was just like, hey, this would have been cool to find this out prior to the two of them being right the fuck about to fight. You know, they're in the ring, it's about to go down. I'm ready to watch it. I'm ready to watch this fight scene and see if it's cool and entertaining. And you built me up to it. We're right on the cusp, and then you just take it away and you're like, nope, backstory time. That's a shitty way of doing storytelling. I don't know if that's a Japanese thing. I don't know if it's just certain anime writers like to do it that way. I think it's shitty. I think it should not be done. But yeah, I never watched Shippuden, Naruto Shippuden, or Shippuden, however the fuck you want to say it. Doesn't matter. Who cares? I watched this, and yeah, I came away from it still pretty disappointed. So then, another friend of mine turned me on to Berserk, and I loved Berserk. I thought Berserk was very good. Both the older anime from like the late 90s and the three-part film series, they both adapt the same story arc. What disappoints me about Berserk is not any of either of these two things, not this anime or this movie series. It's the fact that these are so good, and it ends on such a mindfuck cliffhanger ending, and all you want is more. And at the time, there was nothing more. You know, there was nothing more. That's just how it ended, on that mindfuck crazy cliffhanger ending. That's how it ended. If you wanted more, you had to go read the manga. I don't read manga. I guess I'll go. I'm not going to do a video on why I don't read manga, so I guess I'll say it. I don't like that it's black and white. I want color. It's really what it is. So, yeah, if that's a petty, stupid reason, sorry. But yeah, I wasn't going to read the manga, but there wasn't any more to Berserk in anime form. Since then, they have made a new anime series continuing where the story arc from this stuff leaves off. And it's not bad, but what really hurts the show is it tries to go back and forth blending like anime, high quality anime with like that new 3D CGI anime that just looks like a bag of ass. So I hate it. And I watched a little bit of it on Funimation, and I stopped. But the original Berserk anime from the late 90s and the 3-part movie trilogy, those are both very good. I really like them. I wish there was more. I wish there was more in a satisfying way to watch it. So after this, I just wanted more sword fighting shit. So I was like, Rurouni Kenshin, fucking samurai, legendary samurai warrior assassin. Let's watch it. Huge disappointment. I watched the whole thing. I watched everything up to him defeating this guy, this mummy rap dude. I don't remember his name, but the fight scenes were. This is another one of those anime that's kind of on the older side now. Back then, it was like the fighting was almost turn-based in a lot of these older anime. It's like the protagonist makes an attack, and then the enemy blocks it, and then they talk, and then the enemy makes an attack, and they make a big show of it, and the protagonist blocks it, and then they talk. It was like turn-based. It was like your turn to attack, then your turn to attack. It wasn't like, the clashing of blades back and forth very fast. Parry, block, attack, parry, block. It wasn't like that at all. And that's what I was looking for. And on top of that, it is part of his character. So if I have a problem with this, then I just don't like the character and I don't like the show. But the fact that he was all like, I don't kill, I will not kill anymore. I was like, come on, man. Does everyone like I like when Batman doesn't kill. All right, to me Batman's the character with the whole like I don't kill thing. And maybe Daredevil. Everybody else kill everyone with a pulse. I don't care. Like, I don't care. Superman, fucking kill your villains. I don't care. Like, don't. Well, I'm not saying that I want characters to be mass murdering psychopaths. I'm just saying, like, I don't want it to be off the table. Like, do I want Superman just snapping everybody's neck? No. Do I want him to be open to snapping someone's neck if it needs to be done and there's no other way? Yes. So, like, Rurouni Kenshin, I get it. You know, it's supposed to be like he's changed his ways. He used to be this murderous assassin, and he kind of regrets that now, and he wishes to just live a peaceful life now. And he's taken a vow to never kill again. You know, I'd be cool if he was like, I will only kill as an absolute last resort, but I just thought it was lame that he was determined to never kill. So, watched a lot of this show, like I said, all the way up to he defeats this guy. Pretty disappointing. Attack on Titan. Started watching this late 2015, and I was blown away by it. Absolutely blown away by the first season. Me and my roommate, we binge watched this in about 12 hours, the first season in about 12-hour period. Oh my god, it was good. But unfortunately, I guess it was not as good as I thought it was, because it only this one season of it was out. And so there was like, that was like end of 2015 when we watched that together, and it must have been probably like somewhere in the summer of 2018, where almost 3 years later, where not only was the second season, the next season out, released, and dubbed, but finally I just got around to watching it, sitting down and watching it. Uh, so I watched it, and it was good, but the first season was such a mind fuck and raised so many questions about the world that it takes place in, and like what are the Titans? Where did they come from? What is the secret with this government within the walls and all that kind of stuff? And you were hoping to get some answers in season two, and it had been almost 3 years. Like, I'd waited almost 3 years, and then I watched season two, and there really were no answers at all. None. So after season two, I didn't make a conscious choice to just give up on it. It was more of an unconscious choice. Like, I watched season two, I was like, great. Next thing I know, season three is out, and to be honest, like I was like, okay, I should watch season three, but it occurred to me that I really didn't remember a lot of what happened to season two. Season two was so underwhelming that I really didn't remember much of it. So then I found myself having to rewatch season two. And by the time I finished rewatching season two, I was just like, I don't fucking care. Like, I just don't. I don't care. It was so good. The first season was so good that if there'd been more of it out right away, or quicker, I would have been all over it. But it's just, as good as I thought it was when I first watched it, it wasn't good enough to keep my interest over years and years of there being no content released. So yeah, I gave up on Attack on Titan. I still have not finished it. I know that it's completely done now. So at some point I do intend to start with season one, episode one, and just watch it all the way through. I just don't know when that's gonna be. But as of right now, this is still one of my, like, I liked it at first, but as the years went on, my interest in it just kind of waned, and I never finished it. One Piece. I don't know if this is going to make sense to people, but I'm going to say it anyway. One Piece might be the most anime ever. Like, from the art style to the characters' names, the very nature of the show, the story, like everything. It is the most crazy, wacky, off the wall shit. Like, but here's the thing. Unlike Bleach, Bleach was this was an anime that at the very beginning, in its first two big seasons or arcs, it was very grounded in a concept. And then as it progressed, it just got nuttier and nuttier and more ridiculous and more ridiculous. One Piece is nutty and ridiculous from jump, from the get-go. They don't try to hide that whatsoever. There's this fictional world where the vast majority, way more, like they say on our planet Earth, 70% is water. On this planet, wherever this fictional world is, it's way more than 70%. There's only a few like island countries, continents, small around this planet. It's mostly water. Uh, like navies and pirate ships are a big deal, and it's just like I don't even know how to describe this world and the culture. Like there's definitely samurai Japanese influences to it, but there's also like everything the fuck else. Like it's so nutty and crazy. There are trains that run on the on the ocean. There are cities in the clouds. Uh, Luffy, the main character, there are these like fruit where if you eat the fruit, depending on which fruit you eat, you're gonna get special powers. And like Luffy here, he ate what they call the gum gum fruit, and it made his body all like stretchy, like Mr. Fantastic from the Fantastic Four. And then you got like every character has a little something. Frankie over here is a cyborg. Chopper over here is a talking little reindeer who can turn into this big, like burly reindeer that's like really strong. Nami can make uh, extra hands pop out. She can generate extra hands, but not just on her own body, pretty much off of any fucking service within her eyesight. She can just make her like extra copies of her hands pop out. Like it's just so nutty and crazy, but I love it. It's fantastic. It's super entertaining. The action is top notch. It's another one of those anime that like it's old. It's old. So the earlier episodes, the action and the animation is not quite as good, but it's still ongoing. Like it is, there are over 1,000 episodes. It might be the longest running anime, but it's good. You know, the only downside to this anime is this is another one, just like with Dragon Ball Z, just like with Bleach. I should have mentioned this earlier, just like with I think Naruto, there are filler episodes and filler arcs just to give more content to the show. Whenever I watch anime, I try to look up a guide online of how to watch it without filler. So that's what I do with that's what I did with Bleach. It's what I did with Naruto, and it's what I do with One Piece. I don't watch the filler arcs. I skip those. But man, like I don't know if I can say enough good things about One Piece. The humor is there are some moments where it's just like kind of dramatic and annoying. People are being over dramatic. Like they're very dramatically shouting to each other, really long-winded exposition. Like I don't know. It's just, and then some of the humor lands, some of it doesn't. I think I can safely say the majority of the humor lands, and the fight scenes and the action scenes are awesome. The world and the complexity of the world and the scope of the world, the different factions and how they all work like and relate to one another, it's fantastic. One Piece might be it at one point it did top Full Metal Alchemist for me as my favorite anime. Like I said though, I'm only just now starting to watch One Piece again after not watching it for 7 years. So and I have a lot to catch up on. Who knows? Maybe in this new stuff that I'm getting into with it, the new episodes I've never seen before, maybe it will top Full Metal Alchemist again. But in the 7 years since I stopped watching One Piece, I've gone back to thinking like, nah, Full Metal Alchemist is still my favorite. But we will have to wait and see. I like One Piece a lot. Next one that I tried was Seven Deadly Sins. Netflix premiered it as a Netflix anime, original anime. It looked interesting. It looked good. Season one was entertaining. Um, but two things prevented me from coming back. I guess we can call it three things. One, so many of the women and female characters in this show are just like overtly sexualized. Like, this is supposed to be Merlin, the wizard. She's in a fucking bikini. Uh, Sometimes it's for humor purposes and the humor lands. Other times I'm just like, why is this bitch practically naked? You know, what's the reason for it? Like, they're like you watch an anime like Berserk, and there is nudity and there are sex scenes, so that makes sense that there's nudity. This shit, I'm just like, why is she wearing that? Why? And then this annoying bitch right here, I forget her fucking name, but Oh my God, Sir Meliodas, Sir Meliodas. The voice actors they got for her, I think they thought that her voice was sexy. It's like this, it's like this high-pitched, whispering, raspy whisper. It seems like a girl trying to do her best attempt to sound sexy, but she's not pulling it off. It's just fucking annoying. And like after watching so many episodes, it got to the point where I was just like, if I hear one more Sir Meliodas, I'm gonna pull all the hair out of my scalp. And then another thing was there was a decent hiatus between season 1 and 2 when, and I don't mean the 4 episode what they called season 2. Season 2 is actually just a little 4 episode filler bullshit. When the real season 2 came out, I started watching it, and very quickly it did some bullshit that I hate with anime. It started assigning like numbered power levels to people and characters, and it wasn't just like used as a quick way to try and articulate to children who watch this which characters are stronger than which. It was a full-on like power level system, and they were going into like a lot of exposition about how it worked. And yeah, it was they overthought it by a lot. It was way overthought, and I hated it. So I have not watched Seven Deadly Sins since like when season 2 first came, the real season 2, like when the seven virtues were introduced, whatever season arc that is. Whenever that came out, I watched like the first 2 or 3 episodes and then I stopped. So I haven't watched it since. I don't know. Anyone who's kept up current with this, and now that you've heard my problems and my complaints with it, if that stuff gets addressed and it gets improved upon, let me know in the comments below. I'd like to know if I should give this another shot. As of right now, I do not intend to. Even though I like this character, I like Meliodas. I'm a sucker for characters who look really young, and people think that they're kind of like young and innocent, but deep down they're actually really old and really knowledgeable and really experienced. But because they look young and they act young, people think they're young. I don't know why. Like Doctor Who, Matt Smith's Doctor Who. I really liked Matt Smith's Doctor Who. I like characters like that. So yeah, anyone with more info about this show, leave some comments below. Let me know if I should give it another shot. So then I tried Tokyo Ghoul. Um, I heard some people talking about it one day, and I decided to check it out. Now, I was turned off by it at first because I saw that it seemed like too many characters. Let me put it this way. I hate every single anime stereotype. What I mean by that is, as soon as I see a tentacle, I turn the anime off and I say fuck the anime. And it seemed like the main character, this guy here, it seemed like his whole shtick, his power, his ghoul power was, I have tentacles that come out of my body and I can use them to throw people around. It was like he's Tentacle Man, and I hated it. But I I oddly enough I did stick with the show. And watching it further, there were enough other the plot of the show and the other characters that had cooler I forget what the name is for like the ghoul's power body part, but there were more characters that had cool versions of that. Like their ghoul power was cool. And that combined with the overall story I thought was very interesting and cool. Up until Tokyo Ghoul RE, which is also kind of thought of as like season 3, that one I did not like because the whole time I'm just like waiting to try and get answers of like, okay, when is this dude gonna remember who he really is? Uh, is that even what really happened? Does he have amnesia? Why doesn't he? Did they do experiments on him? Why is he working for the government now? Like he is a ghoul. He's acting like he's not a ghoul, and yet he is one, and he has ghoul powers. When is he going to get his memory back? When is he going to start being who he really is again? And it didn't happen until the very end of the very last episode of season 3. And I was so bored to death by the end, uh, by the time it got there, that I was like kind of like fuck this show. I don't know if they've ever made any more of it after that. I really don't know. This is another one where, like, if anyone has any amplifying information on Tokyo Ghoul and the current state of the anime, please let me know, and let me know if I should give this another shot. And then we have finally arrived to the most recent anime that I've watched and gotten into, and holy fuck, is this another just killer, badass anime. A lot of people are going to kind of think I'm basic, because I like the basic ones, One Piece, Full Metal Alchemist, Demon Slayer, like, but holy shit, this anime, Demon Slayer, Kimetsu no Yaiba, it's so good. It's so fucking the animation and art style is gorgeous. It's so mesmerizing. You can't take your eyes off the screen. The special elemental effects that they use to kind of illustrate to the audience, to the viewer, the different sword styles that the people use when they fight is really good, and then also the pacing of the fight scenes is really good. I was talking about, like, I was looking for a show where characters fight with swords and axes and blades and other stuff, like melee weapons, and it's not just like big heavy swings followed by talky talk. Like, I was looking for a, attack block parry, jumping around, moving fast, and boy does this show have, it's so freaking good. And the premise is so simple. Young kid leaves his village one day to go run an errand. When he comes back, his whole family is murdered except for his sister. She has been turned into a demon. And in this show, demons are kind of like the ghouls from Tokyo Ghoul, except that, like, they don't have weird appendage physical body part powers. They're just strong and fast, and they want to eat humans. That's what demons do. They eat people. His sister has been turned into a demon, and he takes a vow. The main character, this guy, he takes a vow to turn her back into a human, and it becomes revealed to him that his best chance of doing so is by taking down the demon that attacked his family and turned his sister into a demon in the first place. And the only way he's going to be able to do that is if he becomes a demon slayer and joins the demon slayer corps. So he does that. He goes through training. He gets his own sword. I love this anime. Currently, right now, this is my favorite anime. It might change. I have a lot of One Piece to start watching again. It might change, but as of right now, this is my favorite anime. I cannot wait for more of it. Holy shit. If you guys haven't watched it, I highly recommend you give it a try. It's so good. So yeah, that's all the anime that I've ever tried out, watched, and that's how I felt about each one. Take that for what you will. If you disagree with me, or I don't really need or care to hear if you disagree with me. However, if on some of those anime that I was wishy-washy about, or if, like, it was an anime that I said I never finished, and the reasons why I never finished it, that if I had just stuck through it, it would have gotten better and I would have enjoyed it. Leave comments below. Let me know. Let me know if I should have stuck through with some of them. Let me know if I should give any of them a second chance. But yeah, that's my relationship with anime. That's my fandom with anime. I do like it. I've just had enough experiences with it where I felt like it was like I wasted my time watching it, to where I am now very, very picky about the anime that I watch. So yeah, that's that. If you like this video, please hit the like button. That really helps out the channel. If you want to help out the channel even more, check out some of my other videos and subscribe. And other than that, I'll talk to you guys later.